Hi, I'm here for an update. I was asked questions by a friend of mine, and I'm gonna get some answers. I write it down because I would forgot really easily. The questions that I was asked by a really good friend of mine who actually watches my channel is talk about my rock bottom, what I felt was my rock bottom, and what I did to get help and the steps I took to get where I am. My rock bottom was back in October, actually, when I actually started using the heaviest of last year. Is when I got out of jail. Um, when my daughter was taken from me, I thought like I conceived her because I wanted the reason to live. I was always usually depressed prior to that. Sorry. Go away. I was suicidal at the end of my life. So the one thing I always told myself I would never do, I ended up doing. Pretty much I started injecting. And I tried to overdose a few times because I was on a suicidal mission, as I said. Because I felt like there's no reason to live, so why not? But then around December of last year, I ended up pregnant. It took me over 2 months to actually take the test because I was in denial of being pregnant, and I wasn't ready to stop using. Well, I decided to take the test and, of course, take the steps of finding out if I was pregnant. Obviously, I was, after missing my period for almost 3 months. And before, when I had used and I had over 4 years clean, almost 5 years clean, I had cold turkey, and I said, pretty much I was clean, I was done, and that was it. I found myself battling with wanting to stop and not being able to stop. It took me for a toll mentally and physically. I felt very much like a piece of shit. I didn't know what to do. I decided in the dead of winter to start walking to AA meetings. Where I was living at the time, they only had 2 AA meetings a week, Mondays and Fridays. There, I was greeted very openly by everyone. I loved them. I loved them to death. Actually, the lady that helped me get to where I am now, I visited her yesterday. And she's a great woman. She really is. I thank her so much. She realized I'm doing good, and she's actually on the drug and alcohol board. And she said she learned a lot from my experience, which now is helping because in the state of Pennsylvania, they don't really cater to women who are pregnant and are being users. So she talked on the board about that. So hopefully, with my experience that she learned and what she's talking to them about, can open up new doors for other people who have the same problem, who want to be clean but are in a situation here like I was, who are pregnant and whatnot. So I told her at the time, like, I wanted to stop using. I ended up relapsing in the midst of trying to quit. She was actually best friends with my lawyer. Is best friends with my lawyer. She called him, contacted him, and he's like, "Oh, you're pregnant? Like, that makes a whole difference now." Well, I told him I wanted to get help. I wanted to go to rehab. So this woman worked her butt off to get me into a place. And, like, my options were very slim in Pennsylvania because they were like, "Oh, I'll send you to Maryland or California." I'm like, I didn't have an ID at the time. So it's like, well, I couldn't really do much. The first program they sent me to, it was a big flu outbreak. I ended up with the flu. They didn't give me proper treatment. It took like a week before them to be like, "Oh, you had the flu." Like, no kidding. I did 2 weeks there before I decided I didn't like it. I got out and wanted to go somewhere else, but the gist of wanting to go somewhere else, you had to be testing positive for some type of drug, so I ended up needing to relapse the day before just so I can get in. It's very crappy. It's not an excuse, it's just how the state of Pennsylvania works. So I got into another program that was very, very wonderful. I loved them to death. It's actually Valley Forge Medical Center in Pennsylvania. I completed. I carry around my chip all the time with me on my wallet to remember where I came from and where I don't want to go back to. After that, I then tried to do a halfway house. Program was really horrible. It was supposed to be 6 months. It put me in a deep depression. I ended up leaving and going into a hospital for a week for suicidal tendencies. And before they discharged me, I told them, like, I don't want to leave unless I had somewhere to go. I'm going to do outpatient because I'm not going back to rehab because that means I would have to mess up again. I didn't come this far to keep messing up. I'm done. So they set me up with outpatient. I go 3 times a week and I do one-on-ones once a week. So that's 4 times a week. So with that being set up and me doing that, I'm actually about to be done my outpatient and graduate and start doing one-on-ones. Usually you can tamper down whatever, but they feel like I'm at the point where I've done so well. Like I don't need to do a two weeks or whatever. But I'm going to try and do as much as I can as possible and stay longer maybe, just because it's what's holding me together. I like these groups, even though it's torture at night because I go from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I feel like being around a lot of people who are in recovery, I can give them good advice or they can give me advice, help each other. You know, I kind of like it, but some people, just like normal, kind of don't like them. Anyway, so with that being said, I actually have court early in the morning tomorrow that I have to travel like over 2 hours away from. So this is like a last minute thing that I'm kind of just like, I'm really exhausted. Sorry. With that being said, me taking a lot of steps and stuff like that where I'm not being court ordered to or anything, just is actually helping me with court tomorrow, where I'm probably just gonna get probation. Because like I wanted them to know, like, hey, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm sober and I didn't just get out and start messing up. I looked into different recovery specialist programs, and that's how I got into the maternal recovery specialist here in my county. I only did sign up so far, so I don't have an update on how that's going yet. They come every 2 weeks, and hopefully I can give you an update next week. An update tomorrow on what has happened. Besides that, that's what I have. Any questions or anything like that, feel free to message me, text me, Facebook me, whatever you are on. Comment. I'll be willing to share. So thank you for listening.